Hey everybody, it's Brooke from The Buttered Home. Welcome to my messy kitchen. Tonight, we've got a lot to cover. We're going to do a little bit of cooking just so I can show you really quickly some of the ease of the Instant Pot. Most people have a name for their Instant Pot. I've had mine for 3 years and I still haven't named it. So any suggestions you could give on a name, I'll take them. Also, be sure and give us a thumbs up and let us know you're here. And feel free to leave questions and comments, and as soon as I'm done, I'll answer all of them. So first, I just want to go over a few things about the Instant Pot. It's been a lifesaver for me. I love to cook. I love to cook from scratch, but I also work full time, so that's not always easy to do. And one of the things that I have a really hard time with is remembering to leave stuff out to thaw. So one of the great features of the Instant Pot is that you can cook meat when it's still frozen. So that's a big plus for me, and probably I know for a lot of you guys out there too. This is not your mama's pressure cooker. And now Gloria Jean would probably, she might correct me on this, but I think the only time as a kid that I burned myself on her stove was when she was using that big, scary pressure cooker that rocked what seemed like the whole house. So this is not that. So anybody who's apprehensive about this is totally not that at all. Not to say that it's not dangerous. Any appliance that has power hooked to it can be a danger if it's not used correctly. So the first point that I want to make, and I can't find mine, but it comes with a really good instruction book, and it also comes with this really handy dandy Instant Pot pressure cooker recipe book. And this kind of guides you and tells you some of the basics. Pinterest is a great location for recipes, but there are a few things that I recommend that you do to begin with to kind of fall in love with your Instant Pot, and we're going to do one of those tonight. First and foremost, read your instructions all the way through before you do anything, because that's going to help you more than anything else. The second thing, in those instructions, is going to tell you how to do a water test so that you can make sure that it comes to pressure and that your valve works the way that it should. Now here on the Instant Pot, you'll see it's a unit with a big heavy lid. This cannot be submerged in water, so you're going to have to clean this by hand. Also, you're going to have the liner or the stainless steel pot that comes with it. It also comes with the rack, and I'm going to use it tonight for boiled eggs. It also comes with a couple of rice features, like a rice spoon. I didn't get those out. But you'll see inside you have a burner. So one of the biggest mistakes, and I've done it, is people get all in a hurry and they come and they just start throwing stuff in here, and this is on the counter. Don't do that. Or you're going to have a big mess to clean up, and that burner's hard to clean. So always make sure that you have your pot in here. One of the neat features about it is it has these handles on the side, and they're not just handles. I mean, I use my tongs a good bit, so I put my tongs up there, and your lid has these little male ends that actually fit in so that you can leave them up there, and that saves counter space. So that's a really good option. So a couple of things that I'd like to mention here. Once you fall in love with your Instant Pot, you're going to want a couple of things. You might want another one, and that's good too. But if your budget doesn't permit, you can buy another pot for about $20. I recommend that you get the Instant Pot and the sealing ring. Mine is a duo, so it has a yogurt function on it, and I use the yogurt function a lot. I make homemade yogurt. I also make banana bread. I've made a cheesecake in it, still working on that one, and zucchini bread. These rings soak up a lot of smells and everything else of what you're cooking. So if you're going to do sweet and savory cooking, I'd recommend that you have at least 2 rings. So what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that that ring is seated really well in here, because that dictates whether or not you come up to pressure as well. And the instructions, again, are really good at reminding you of that. Another thing you're going to want to always do is when you put water in here, always let the last thing you do be to put liquid in here. You need at least a half a cup of liquid every time you turn it on. So no matter what you're cooking, you're going to have at least a half a cup. My rule of thumb is at least a cup. I can thicken a sauce, but I cannot recover burnt food. So that's my logic behind it. You know, like I said again, make sure your sealing ring is in, your pot is in, and any of the other accessories that you use. Now, I have a couple of things here. I also have a silicone steamer basket. It fits down really nice in there. And like if I'm steaming vegetables, this works really well. It actually works better than the trivet. I also have my famous pinchers, my little claws. And the reason why I like these for the Instant Pot is because you can get a really good grip on your pot to take them in and out. So they're good for that, because when you open this thing, it's hot. Even all of this is hot. So you want to be sure you have something, and a towel or a regular oven mitt, it's not going to get in there and get under the lip so that you can safely lift it up. Sorry, I'm checking my notes. When you seal it, you're always going to want to make sure that your vent is closed. Closed is in the up position. Open is in the down position. And I'll show you, because I know I'm kind of far away. Here's your vent, and up is closed and down is open. So whenever you open it, you're going to want to turn it counterclockwise. When you're going to close it, you're going to turn it clockwise. So just to show you something really simple, a couple of other things, reminders. Don't overfill it. If you overfill it, it's going to take forever to come up to pressure, and it's going to take longer to cook. If you're cooking starchy foods, oatmeal, potatoes, rice, things like that, never do a quick release. Quick release versus natural pressure release. Natural release is where you turn it off and you let it sit and you let that pressure escape naturally. A lot of recipes call for quick release, and you just need to be careful, because what comes out of that vent is hot. And I have messed up the finish on some of my cabinets, so I always keep it away from my cabinets. And you want to stay away from that vent. So one good rule of thumb whenever you're opening that vent is to use these silicone pinchers as well, because you can really burn yourself with that steam that comes out. When you look at recipes and they tell you that they have a 20-minute cooking time, that does not include how long it takes it to come up to pressure. Depending on how much you have in there will dictate how long it takes it to come up to pressure. But generally you can tack on about 10 to 15 minutes to your cooking time total for it to come up to pressure, and another 5 to 10 for the pressure to naturally release. So one good easy recipe, and one of the two things that I recommend you do when you get an Instant Pot, is to boil some eggs. So we're going to do that tonight, and I'm going to go through my little method that I do with you. So I have my trivet inside, and I have 3 everyday large eggs. So I'm just going to set them on the trivet, and then I'm going to add my liquid. That was a cup of water. And it's backwards. Then we're going to seal it, and then we're going to use the manual function. And I'm going to go down to 5 minutes. Now, as I said before, it's going to take about 10 to 15 minutes for it to come up to pressure. So it's cut on now, so now we just wait. There are a lot of different methods out there for cooking boiled or making boiled eggs, depending on if you want them hard boiled or soft boiled. But as a general rule, I like to hard boil mine. So because I use them for things like chicken salad or deviled eggs, things like that. So I use the 5, 6, 7 method. And you, if you're old like me, you can think about Happy Days and the song for Happy Days. So it's 5, 6, 7. So we set the Instant Pot for 5 minutes, and then we turn it off, and we let it natural pressure release for 6 minutes. And then I put the eggs into an ice bath for 7 minutes. And the eggs, they come out beautifully. I have a couple here just so time would permit that I've done. And I'm just going to show you real quick how easy they are to peel. And I'm doing this right over my floor, so probably going to make a mess. But Jasper's here, never fear. But y'all, once you can get to that inner layer in there, gosh, I'm making a mess. Let me do it over here. And I'm nervous. That doesn't help either. They're not sticking. Even though I look like I'm having a hard time, they're not sticking. So there you go. Beautiful boiled egg. And I'm going to cut it for you so you can see that it's hard boiled. Look at that beautiful hard-boiled egg. It's perfect consistency for anything that you would need it for. So I'm real happy with that. So again, that's the 5, 6, 7 method for hard-boiled eggs. And that needs to be one of the first things you do. The second thing I would suggest you do is to cook rice. Now, I don't know if any of you are like me. I love to cook. I consider myself a pretty good cook. I struggle with rice. Now the hubs, he has to cook the rice. Anytime I cooked it on the stovetop, he's always had to do it because I just fail miserably at it. So one of the first things I did, reluctantly, was cook rice in it. I bet you could have heard me in Raymer when I opened this thing and fluffed it and cooled it and took that first bite. I screamed like I had won the lottery. That's no lie. Because I've struggled for years and years. I mean, probably 21 years I've not been able to cook rice. Anyhow, I have now, and I'm a rice aficionado now. And brown rice, if you like brown rice, it's certainly your healthier option. It's difficult to cook as well because it has a much longer cooking time. So brown rice in here, it's very good too, and it doesn't take nearly as long as you would think on the stovetop. Now let me make sure I don't have anything else to cover. No, I mean, I think that's it. So if you're on the fence about an Instant Pot, I would suggest that you go ahead and get one. There's actually one on Amazon today on Prime Deal of the Day. It's a Luxe. It's not a Duo. Essentially what that means is pretty much the only thing that I know, and I could be wrong, but it doesn't have the yogurt function on it. But the 6-quart Luxe is, I think, $59.95 today on Amazon Prime Deal of the Day. So if you're on the fence, I definitely, if you have a family of 4 or more, I'd get the 6 to the 8-quart. If it's just 2 of you, they have a really nice 3-quart that's about $79. That's a Duo like this that has the yogurt function. And we're going to be covering yogurt later. So if you think that you might want to make yogurt at some point, it's really easy. I have 2 recipes from people that I follow for yogurt. And we're coming up to pressure now, so we'll have boiled eggs in a little bit, and that's probably what my folks are eating for supper. So ask your questions. Let us know if you have questions, comments, anything that you want to see from here on out. We're hoping to have a couple of local celebrities on in our messy kitchen at some point soon. And be sure and go to our website at www.thebutteredhome.com and subscribe to our email newsletter because we have some exciting things about to happen and we want our email subscribers to see those first. So while we love you here at Facebook, if you're not an email subscriber, you're not going to get sneak peeks into things we have going on. our email subscribers or our VIPs, so to speak. So we thank y'all for everything, the wonderful support. We've got another contest coming up soon. So we'll see you again here next Monday night in the Messy Kitchen. Thanks.